Stand by. Deacon Blue. That's what we can do at Uckfield FM. Good morning, this is Nicky Stuart. Welcome to the show, whatever you're doing. If you're out and about delivering, and if you're just sort of chilling out at home because the kids are at school and you've just prepared something for Christmas and you're having your drink, you've picked a really good time because it can be a very stressful time of the year. Got to tell you, really looking forward to Ellie Goulding, playing her in just a moment as well. But first of all, in the studio with me now, Maria Paviour from the Maria Paviour Company in Hadlow Down. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicky.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today.
Do you know what? My turkeys have fallen in love with you.
Well, I'm so glad.
They've really, it's incredible. They really love you.
They've taken to me.
They have.
Oh, well, I have an affinity.
And they've got a soft spot for Katie as well, who's in the corner filming this. Look at that.
Oh, it's lovely.
Stop. Can you stop stroking those turkeys, please? Oh, she's naughty, your Katie, isn't she? Naughty girl. Anyway, listen, it's really, really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, first of all, I haven't got a clue. What does your company actually do, Maria?
Well, I'm a psychologist, okay, so don't be put off by that. We are still fairly normal. But what we do corporate coaching, life coaching, and all sorts of stuff in organisations. But I also do a lot of work with women in empowerment, self-empowerment, and with everybody. Do a lot of everybody empowerment. So that's sort of stuff. In Uckfield, we do quite a lot of work on personal empowerment too. So that's what I do.
Is it mainly corporate? Is it one-to-one sessions? How does it work?
A lot of the stuff I do is corporate, in the corporate sector. But all of the ideas really are for everybody. So it doesn't matter whether you're in an organisation or not.
So it's all motivational.
It's to do with actually communication. There is an element of motivation in there, but it's to do with communication, having good relationships with people, and actually being successful. And being successful, which is all related to modelling the sorts of behaviours that make you happy, actually.
Are you saying that you don't necessarily, interesting this, you don't necessarily have to be positive to be successful?
I think it depends what your idea of positive is.
Well, what's yours?
I think. Well, I think in terms of positive psychology, it's to do with looking at the things which make us most effective. And those things tend to be the things that make us happy, because success and happiness are actually, for most of us, they equate to the same thing. So to be successful, we are happy. Sometimes we get confused. We think that things that will make us happy are our success. We think that if we become successful, we will become happy. Actually, that doesn't work like that. And it's proven that it doesn't.
I hear what you're
like
saying.
that.
They're two separate things, and I totally agree with what you've just said, the first part. The one bit, at one point, I'll go back to the question is, do you think you can be successful in life and in business without being positive?
I think probably not. I mean, my interpretation of positive...
Do you know, we actually got an answer. We actually got an answer there from Maria. Incredible. No, I take your point. No, I think you have to be positive. And, of course, at this time of year, it's stressful. It really is. And there are a lot of people out there trying to be positive because it's a trigger they know that 9 times out of 10 makes them feel good. But the reason you're here on the show today is really to talk about how to be happy through this Christmas period. And that's something which can test even the best, most successful business person, or, you know, the housewife at home who's doing so much work that maybe some of it isn't appreciated in the right way. The children are at school, think Christmas just comes on a plate, here we are. And the financial strains and all the bits and pieces that go with it. And I'm really pleased that you're here this morning to talk about how to be happy at Christmas. So come on then, it's stressful, you've got a family, you want it to be bang on the money, you're aiming for perfection, though we know that at the end of the day that may be maybe not the thing to do. I want to know how to remain happy over the long festive Christmas period.
Well, I think the key to it there is exactly what you said. We're planning for it to be happy. And what we're doing when we're thinking, I will be happy at Christmas, is we're pushing happiness back to a particular moment in time. Now, the problem with that is we're doing what we call pushing it over the cognitive horizon. You're pushing it into a time when it's like saying, I'll be happy tomorrow. And of course, it never comes. So you have to think about where you are right now. I mean, at this moment in time, if you're thinking, I'm worrying about whether I've spent £50 on this Johnny and whether I've only spent £45 on Gillian and I've got to try and work it out, you're actually missing the point entirely. Because the thing that makes people happy at Christmas, and it doesn't matter whether they're children or not, it's not so much the stuff, it's actually the feeling of being together, the feeling of the family group, these things, and most importantly, it's the feeling of gratitude. If when we feel grateful, we feel incredibly happy. It creates an effect in our brains.
That empowers us, doesn't it? Moves us forward.
And it does, and it lasts a long time. The other thing which makes us feel happy is service. Service is one. There are 3 different types of happiness, and service is the most powerful. So when you do stuff for other people,
Giving.
It's not about what the price tag is. It's about the emotion behind it. It's about the
gesture.
sentiment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the sentiment.
A letter to somebody to tell them how you feel about them can actually have a far greater effect on their happiness, but interestingly, on your happiness than any gift that you give them. So it's not about giving things at Christmas. It's about giving of yourself.
What I find quite interesting is that we all build up to the day. Okay, though it's amazing that there are lots of days that build up to that day, and we don't really. I call it the crazy time of year because you do lose your marbles a bit, and you don't sort of you lose perspective in a way. And I don't know whether you agree with me, but I think the key, especially on Christmas Day and on Christmas Eve, which is to let it all go, to let that release happen earlier. Because I find, don't know about you, that on Christmas Day people still are in that mode of what are we going to do, what are we going to do? Well, the answer is you're there, you've hit the pot, and you can't relax or release. And I think that Christmas Day should be a flowing, mounting stream. It should be something that's spiritually moving, so that everyone involved is invited to that party and are releasing. Does that make any sense? Am I talking tosh?
No, I think that's absolutely true. I think, one of the...
a few drinks as well along the way.
Yeah, well, that can,
just to help.
For some people, that can be perfect.
I'm going to get trolleyed.
But I think also there's... A lot of people think that there are certain elements that we try to aim for in life. The happy life is a form of happiness. It's called the happy life. And this is the things that we think will make us happy. And it tends to be a little bit more material. When you look at the lives of celebrities, the red carpet lives, the clothes, the watches, the jewellery, all of that, that's what we consider to be the happy life. If I have those things, that will make me happy.
Quick fix, of course.
Yeah, but it doesn't last. It is the least persistent of all forms of happiness.
So would you agree it's a short-term fix to a long-term nightmare?
It's absolutely. Yeah. In fact, keep away from it, I would say. Because
don't subscribe. Don't get... I look at it as don't get the disease.
It can be nice for a moment, and you can actually do happy life things that don't require money. I mean, one perfect thing is get out into nature, like somewhere like Wilderness Wood, for example, where you can get into nature, you can take some time out, and actually get the children outside at Christmas. If you've got children, you know that they turn toxic. Get them outside because it makes a huge difference. It helps to reduce their stress hormones as well. The key is get your stress hormone down. And get other people to support you at Christmas in order to do that, because we tend to have a rather weird, heady mix of hormones at Christmas. We have high levels of serotonin, which is happiness. Oh, yes, everything's wonderful. Then we have high levels of stress as well. That makes us reactive. So when somebody says something, we take offence, rather than getting your stress hormones lower and allowing the serotonin to kick in. And for goodness sake, don't be a martyr at Christmas.
Don't be a slave. Are you saying then, interesting this, are you saying that the stress hormone is different to the pleasure hormone?
Yes.
What is the pleasure hormone? Is that the serotonin going berserk?
Serotonin, yes. The serotonin
and the stress
is
fights
the
that
happiness
serotonin. Does it drain it? What does it do?
Well, cortisol just makes you very
hyper,
ready for anything. So
it's a feral protection.
It is, absolutely. So it makes you very reactive. It's actually not a good place to be over Christmas.
No.
So you need to try and think about, what can I do to bring the serotonin down? Raise the serotonin, bring down the cortisol. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit of an awkward reindeer today because one of my antlers is just...
Maria's lovely. If you're watching on the webcam, or if you're not, actually, it's probably more relevant, that Maria's come in with an amazing reindeer little thing on there with bells on the end. But one of the horns has drooped.
I'm afraid it has.
Story of my life. But it's happened here. But that just goes to show that it's not going to be a perfect Christmas, of course.
Absolutely. And
but it's going to be... Sorry. They've got a thing with the reindeers. Sorry, it's all right. They have. Sorry about that, yeah. It's not going to be perfect, and I think we've got to accept that from the word go. We don't mean it's going to be a disaster, but
It's actually better if you don't try to make it
Yeah,
perfect.
I agree with you.
You know, we'd have more fun when things go wrong, don't we?
Yeah, or if they're spontaneous.
Exactly.
We haven't met before, we haven't planned anything, and after the show, we suddenly go, oh, should we meet up the road for a drink? We'll probably have a blast.
Yes, exactly.
If we planned it and we were going to tell what we're going to talk about, and we'd probably end up being boring.
Quite.
And not
Quite
enjoying it
agree.
so much.
I quite agree. So, yeah, and it's about relationship building at Christmas more than anything else. You know, the whole idea of it really is we've got to get together as a family and with people. And if you don't have anybody, if you're alone, and that's probably the most difficult thing for a lot of people, being alone at Christmas, then remember, the thing that makes us happiest, and this is proven scientifically, is service. Get out and do something for somebody else. And during this build-up to Christmas, I would urge everybody to do some things that will make you feel good and somebody else. So I would urge everybody, every day, one random act of kindness. So if you're in a supermarket, congratulate somebody on the service. If you're at home, tell the children that they've been created wonderful decorations, that they're behaving well. Give some nice feedback to your partner. A random act of kindness, no agenda. You will feel better for it. It actually makes you feel as good as it makes the other person. So random acts of kindness actually reduce your stress hormone and increase your serotonin.
And if you are alone, think about the person even though they're not with you, because then that will give you something as well, won't it? If there's a thought process there, and somebody isn't around when they're on the other side of the world or something, if you're thinking about them, you're transmitting. Does that help as well?
I think it can do for some people. For some people, it depends on the individual.
Sure, but that's you say do that right. I'm not talking about loss and obviously the trauma side of Christmas, which we're not here to talk about today, because but you know we won't understand that. I'm talking about if somebody just isn't with you and you love them and they're far away, or they're not round the table because they happen to be doing something abroad. If we think about them, we are communicating with them, and will we feel better for thinking about them?
I think, particularly if you think about all the things you're grateful for in knowing and loving that person. If you commit down, maybe on paper, what do I feel grateful for?
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, again, it's an element that creates happiness. That is something that actually creates happiness.
Maria, that's interesting. What's happening in my mind when I'm doing that, rather than just thinking of the singular, i.e., the shape of the person, just the frontier, as it were? What does it do to my mind when I start going deeper? What happens then from what you've just described to me?
So what's happening when you're thinking about feeling grateful for something?
Yes, and going through experiences rather than just thinking of that person. I'm going deeper. What is happening to my mind when I'm doing that?
It's actually starting to create a reaction in your brain, which is kicking off the emotional hormones. So it kicks off the serotonin. Now, the thing to bear in mind is that we all have emotions, not necessarily all the time, but a lot of the time. And the problem often is that there are certain things, stress hormones, that bring up some of the other emotions that we don't want to feel. We become reactive.
They work against. Yeah,
if you start thinking about things like feeling grateful for things which are important to you in your life, people that are important to you, it actually starts to connect you to those feelings that you have for those people. So then you get back to the root of your feeling, the feelings of love and feelings of kind of oneness, if you like. And that then creates a feeling of well-being in you. So that's what is a great thing to do. Think about, what am I grateful for? And before you go to bed at night, instead of thinking about what haven't I done and is there a fairy on the tree, think to yourself, what is wonderful about today? What has been wonderful about today? And what are all the wonderful things I've got in my life? Even if I have spent £5 less on Jilly, there are still some wonderful things in my life which matter. And in the end, when everybody's opened the presents, and all of that, which lasts, half an hour or whatever, when all of that is over, what you have are the people in the room with you. So get that connection going, and remember, don't martyr yourself at Christmas. Everybody gets involved. It's fun. Make it fun. It doesn't matter if you spill the gravy. Enjoy.
And compliment people and give back. You say, like going out shopping and somebody's in the queue, say something, be happy, it's amazing what you can give. And listen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
When I first read that you were coming on the show this morning, I really hadn't got a clue what you were about. And the Maria Paviour Company, really, I recommend you. If you're a company listening now and you want to do some team building, if you're a singular person, want some life coaching, if you want to do anything, just speak to Maria. Have you got a website?
Yes, I have. The Maria Paviour Company website is going live very soon. You can get my blog at I Synergize Life. So that's a bit of a mouthful. But if you put Maria Paviour into Google, you'll find all sorts of goodies.
Brilliant, and they've written a book as well, which we'll talk about next time you come back on the show. When's the website going live, Maria?
Oh, should be in January sometime.
We're looking forward to that. I tell you what, as I said before, I didn't know what we were going to be talking about, and when I saw actually a little brief coming through from one of the producers, brought it in and said it's about being happy at Christmas, I just thought, that's easy. What the heck? That's going to take 2 minutes. It's getting trolleyed and having a laugh, and you have dug the depths. I've learned something this morning from you. I think you're great. Katie, thank you very much for filming this. This is good. My agent will be on the phone and put the invoice in the post to you, Maria, for that. But at the end of the day, I'm only having a laugh with you. Ching, ching and cheers. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.